put water in my mouth, I feel around for the pills that might be in there. The philosopher Simone Weil said, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." Thank you for your attention tonight. My first poem is called Love's Hierarchy, Heels, and Wings. Our dinner was served on Churchill blue willow china plates with tea house pagoda and two birds facing each other in the sky. Each plate had willow trees, Chinese pines, a fence, and a bridge with three men who secretly watched me as I ate my spaghetti with ragu meat sauce, pretending it was snowing when I sprinkled my Parmesan cheese. "Look," they yelled, "it must be winter," or Thursday, which was spaghetti night. As my mother had a rotating menu I did not recognize, and which she told me about years later. Ironic, since I'm speaking of patterns. In the left corner was a small boat, probably filled with travelers who had saved for a vacation only to fight the whole journey. My mother would smile as she gave me the heels of the bread, the wings of the chicken she butchered herself like some peasant farm wife. The heels were very special, she told me, and the wings should only be eaten by the most special child. Mind you, this was before hot wings were a thing. So with the greatest of trust, I went through life wondering why the rest of the world crumbled up their bread heels and tossed them out the back door of life to the birds, which made me believe that I must be a bird, flying above a pagoda through Parmesan snow, watching my sisters be served the breasts and thighs, my brothers getting the drumsticks. This was not out of lack of love, or even love's hierarchy. I still love blue willow plates. I still swim the cold waters between the pagoda and the shore. My second poem is called The Sun and Her Planets. The day after we buried my mother, my sister reached out unadorned hands to seize the double rainbow. Her hands now cold with rain. This was the message we needed, as we believed in signs. She left us a room full of good intentions. Our mother was the sun, and we were her planets, some of us closer, some further away, all differently held by her gravitational force. She had a way of keeping us in our places. And here's a poem about my father. Time spent with my father. 26 bluegill were placed on my stringer and entered into the fishing contest. I was 6. They snapped a Polaroid picture of me with that smile white as a canoe, my small fingers holding up the line with my fishing shining like silver Christmas ornaments, and taped it to the bait house wall. That place I bought Slim Jims for 25 cents. And now at 50, I recounted that story with the joy of someone who had won a Nobel Prize, only to have it pointed out to me that I had in fact cheated by scooping the fish out of the water with a styrofoam cup. The shiny, tiny, dinosaur-looking creatures gulping for breath like fat diabetic chain smokers telling the last chapters of their stories. And what happened to the other children? Those line casters who patiently waited and caught nothing. Perhaps they stared for a full year at my tackle box prize, the way women stare with envy at designer purses they'll never own. It was true. I was a cheater. I thought my father loved taking me with him, day fishing, night fishing, in the small boat with the green Coleman lantern and those small little nets he seemed to forever be screwing around with that had something to do with light and our seeing. I just know there was a lot of cussing around those little cup-like sacks that oddly looked like the shape of testicles. Once I thanked my father for always taking me fishing. He laughed out loud. "You're joking, right? Your mother made me take you to give her a break. I was one of his punishments, as I later found out. He was a cheater too. And for the last 27 years, I've been an oncology nurse and a pain specialist and a nurse practitioner now for many years. So my reader suggested I write a poem about healthcare, and this is about one of my experiences on the bone marrow transplant unit at Methodist Hospital. It's called All You Can Eat at the Endangered Species Buffet. You sold your school photos for $5 each, and that was a lot in 1996 to buy going away gifts. 8 2x3-inch school photos smile at me like 4 sets of twins. Your curly hair, your burgundy tie, your stained crooked collar, and those teeth too big for your face. But they must have been baby teeth because you were 6. You slid across the tiled floors of A7 South at Methodist Hospital with your tiny feet and your even tinier hemoglobin. Remember that nosebleed you tried to clean up? The floor looked like hands on ancient cave walls, all red with handprints. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Your grandmother handmade you blue and yellow Power Ranger gowns. You knew, though, you would be leaving us. I went to TJ Maxx and found you a deck of endangered species cards. After that, when I helped you pick your menu, I would ask if you wanted the fish sticks or the macaroni and cheese. You would say, laughing and handing me a card. I would pretend to call. Hello, do you have the Sumatran elephant? No, they have a cheeseburger. Hello, madame, do you have the Western lowland gorilla? No, sir, they have spaghetti with 1 meatball. Hello, madame, do you have the monarch butterfly? They said they might have a moth. Tell them I want the woolly mammoth. That's not endangered, I said. It's extinct. Rosemary, you asked, is heaven a real place? I said yes. What is it like? You know when the Sunday paper comes and there's all those ads with toys and you circle whatever you want? And I think you really get it all. I think it's like that. You looked at me and asked, were you for real about heaven? I nodded, and then I held you, and I rocked you. Rosemary? Yes. Why are there lightning bugs, but no lightning in the sky? And my last poem, is called Apricots from the Lava of Vesuvius. Love is the tired mother warming the milk each night, regular and dependable as the setting sun. Describing love is difficult. Rough as root vegetables, onions, sweet potatoes, the color of baby pumpkins, carrots, wax and wane like most things of the earth between poverty and the highlight. By that I mean, you now have restaurants marketing themselves with $8 glazed carrots, fennel and garlic salad for $28. And people pay. Take out their tan leather billfolds, their gold buttons scratching the fine leather. Our primal brain understands the love of our mother sitting in dirt, sweat forming mud in her hairline, pulling the carrots from the earth like a midwife delivering a breech baby. Like most of love, the root vegetable is covered in dirt with extraneous strings. All the while we are imagining the taste of apricots from the lava of Vesuvius. $57 later, we pretend we were delighted. Like in love, we have already painted ourselves in the corner. How can we admit they were awful? How can we justify that homegrown carrots with a pinch of sugar, a hint of the earth our mother kneeled in, taste better than than any volcanic ash-grown fruit. All for that other love. Don't we feel a little like we've been hoodwinked? And that if we were by ourselves at the table, we would all ask to speak to the manager to see about getting some kind of refund. Thank you.